I'm muted, not in this universe. Welcome back. It is another Wednesday. It is another hump day. And if the last half year has been any indication, a Wednesday, that means we have new Marvel content. So let's get them in here. We can't waste any more time. We've got Casali files. We've got Majka, man. Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine Wednesday?
Doing good. I mean, again, the train never stops with Marvel material. It keeps getting better and better. I thought they knocked it out of the park with the debut episode of What If, but I mean, come on. They started with episode 1. They were getting there, and then this one is just a whole other level. I'm so excited to talk about it with you guys.
Majka was excited, but now he has literally gone into the void. So until he comes back, he did just move apartments. He did just move universes, folks.
That's right.
So we'll bear with him. But yeah, we are talking What If episode 2 here on TrainWreck Sports, and Majka will be back momentarily. We already got him here. I think he's back in. Majka, what'd you enjoy here on this episode 2 of What If? And welcome back to What's TrainWreck Watching after the move. I know it was it was a little bit of a move.
Yeah, it was. I don't want to go through the what if of not talking to you guys about our Marvel shows here for a couple of weeks. So it was good. The episode, I caught up on the episodes last night. It's been fun. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect with this show. Like even coming out of when it first got announced, and especially after what we saw in Loki and everything, had no idea what to expect. But I've enjoyed it so far. I have a feeling that it's just going to get crazier as we go on. Like we're just going to see some absurd shit, and this one kind of started out on that, at least down that path a little bit. We saw some pretty jarring sights in this episode, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that the first episode of What If had about 5 to 6 big changes that affected everything overall. This episode had about 30, and they were just nonstop. We literally went from a tricycle to like a dirt bike going at 60 miles per hour. It was pretty incredible. So right off the bat, obviously the plot of this episode, spoilers incoming. What if T'Challa became Starlord? So it's very funny. You see him breaking to get what is one of the Infinity Stones, just like Peter Quill did at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. And it turns out that Starlord is a little bit more well-known in this galaxy, Casali.
Yes, it's funny, and I'm happy that this is episode 2 that we're diving into, because from last episode that we spoke about What If, this was what I was looking forward to. Not only this storyline, but to see Chadwick Boseman come back and play the role as Black Panther, as he does so well throughout the years. I mean, again, it's crazy because that's what I love about the show so far. Is it seems like it's going down the right track of what the movies go. Last week was Captain America, the First Avenger. This week it started out as Guardians, but there was a different face under the mask. It was our own T'Challa, Black Panther, or as he was Starlord in this episode. It was just so great to see him, and it's so great to hear his voice again, and just to see the change that has happened. Like it was just so exciting to see to beginning.
Can we pour one out for Peter Quill? Because, man, did he get the short end of the stick at the beginning of this? We know how the beginning of Guardian started, just the disrespect of the Starlord name, and we get a complete turnaround for T'Challa. He's literally like a legit superhero out in this galaxy to all these people as a role model. I love Peter Quill, but man, they did him real dirty at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. There was also no dance number in the beginning of this episode, which I was missing. But that again, that's Peter Quill for you.
Well, that's why our new Starlord, aka T'Challa, is out saving universes and galaxies. We learned in this episode that he is doing a hell of a job. He saves planets, he saves ecosystems all over. And what I love most about this episode was the reintroduction to all the characters, because truly, him being Starlord changed everything over. You had, Yondu in the proud father role. We had the return of Taserface in this episode. I mean, did you ever think you'd be seeing Taserface in Marvel content? But one person who we did not think we'd be seeing again so soon, that had by far the biggest impact by T'Challa being Starlord, Thanos opts out of his cleanse, his Mercedes cleanse. Thanos does it. I mean, what a turn of events. T'Challa able to convince him not to pull the trigger, so to speak, Micah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was just so crazy. I mean, as soon as the opening credits happened, this is
he still was.
Oh, my bad. I think you might be lagging a little bit, Micah. It's all good. Casali, what were you saying?
No, I was just trying to help out. Well, I'll put in my input that you know, as soon as the opening credits rolled, and you know, this is the curse I always bear, that you know, I always put the actors to the faces. When the credits were rolling, I saw Josh Brolin, and I was very surprised that you know, I was like, wait a minute, how are they going to interpret Thanos? And obviously, he had a big, important role in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. So, you know, it was going to, I mean, you know, me, I'm a huge, huge Thanos fan. So, you know, I was just so excited to see him again. And then again, it was just like a turnaround that he was actually on the good side. I mean, you know, his running joke throughout the whole series was how he was always getting laughed at for talking about decimating half the universe, which, I mean, you know, in another universe, it actually happened. But you know what? It was just so great to see him and the jokes and just to see him be kind. I mean, again, Josh Brolin knows how to play Thanos. He's been doing it for ages, but it was just such a turnaround and such a delight to, you know, to see the Mad Titan actually become the good Titan. I mean, you know, who would ever thought that would be the case?
I wrote down he went from the Mad Titan to the Glad Titan. He was just, you know, thankful.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one more.
I do like how, and I don't know, I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this, is he was like still trying to convince people it was a good plan though. Even he didn't get to pull the trigger.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, it wasn't the worst idea. Everyone was like, yeah, that's genocide.
Oh, yeah. He's like the one guy at work where you go out later for drinks and he's always talking about like, oh, you know, that deal we could have made would have been a good idea, but everybody knows no, that wouldn't work out. So it was just such a delight to see him back, and it was just what a turnaround. I mean, this is how crazy the multiverse is. I mean, it literally changes, you know, the worst of the worst into one of the good guys. So, you know, it was pretty crazy.
And of course, when you have, you know, this evil that is no longer existed in the universe, there has to come something to take its place. And of course, that is Tanalir Tavan, aka the Collector. This episode just rolled on with the greatest hits of the Guardians series. I mean, basically, it all went back to Guardians episode 1, whether it was the opening or Guardians volume 1, whether it was the opening scene or whether it was the fact that Thanos was sprinkled in throughout, just like he is in that movie. But with that said, so we go to the Collector, and the biggest thing is he's gone from, like, you know, this obscure hipster to now he's on the Thanos workout plan. He's got the Dark Order backing him up as an entourage, and he's absolutely yoked.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it was such a different turnaround even for that character, especially because he was such a minor character within the first film. So it was kind of cool to see that, you know, he was changed up a little bit. And yeah, he had the Black Order behind him and everything. Now we see what would happen if Thanos never really actually had a plan to decimate half the universe.
Yeah, the honestly, like in the movies, like the Collector in the comics is like he's dope as shit. Like he is pretty. I mean, I don't remember him being that buff. That's a special what if. They just got him jacked up on something. I hope it was legal. I hope he wasn't doing anything crazy. But never seen him like with that kind of physical imposing force. But he's definitely more of a force than he kind of showed in the other Guardians movies. So it was good to see him like pop up and actually. I mean, for the 30 minutes, whatever, 35 minutes is a credible threat. Like he's clearly been doing some damage while he's been around and been a thorn in the side of a lot of people in the universe. So good to see him. Good to see a different kind of take on him because he's definitely a guy that I was kind of hoping that they'd be able to explore in the movies a little more. So good to see anything more with him just as a character. He's a great character.
And explore the character we do indeed. This alternate version in this what if universe. We are on a quest for the embers of Genesis. And first things first, stupid, sexy Nebula comes out of nowhere with this new form. It's like, what the hell is she doing there? But we'll get to that in a second. We get the whole quest to the collector. I agree with what you were talking about, Michael. We really got to see a little bit more power, a little bit more mystique out of the collector. I liked how his things could rearrange him. I liked how when Howard the Duck said he had like wings organized based on like the content that they had, everything like that. With that said, how did you like the quest to Collectorville, Casali?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was great. It kind of, I mean, it kind of also kind of played out the way that it did as far as the first movie goes when they went to nowhere and whatnot, and to introduce it. I mean, even just to back up too, what I also loved about this episode and how crazy and how different it was is because, obviously, as we know in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, when Peter Quill, goes on his mission to collect the Power Stone and to go throughout, he meets the Guardians, he gets arrested, all that stuff. But this, Peter Quill, T'Challa, this Starlord actually still stays a Ravager. So it was kind of cool that we got a little bit more time with Taserface and Yondu. I mean, it was also so great to have some more Yondu because I love myself some Michael Rooker. But and Kraglin, they brought back the great. So it was just cool to see, that what would have happened if Peter Quill just stayed along. But yeah, I mean, once they get to nowhere.
A Ravager never flies solo.
I mean, yeah, that's true. It seemed like it played the greatest hits, but in a good way, which was just a lot of fun.
As Star Wars showed, is not always the easiest thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it was just cool to see, them tastefully thaw out this mission and to go to nowhere.
Seriously, well, they go to nowhere. Obviously, that's the quest. And again, so now, am I crazy, or was the Collector's Hangout the prison that they were at in the first Guardians movie? It looked kind of similar thing, hanging out, floating on the edge of space.
No, I mean, to me, it kind of looked like the similar spot of where it was in the first one, at least, with all the tanks and whatnot. And, all the captures that he had. I mean, it was cool. In this episode, we got to see a lot of cool, like, dark elves and little things, Easter eggs throughout the movies that he had captured. We got to, hang out with Howard the Duck a little bit more, which is always just such a funny thing that we get to experience that character in these movies again, even though they failed miserably long ago when they tried to bring him to the big screen. So... But yeah, I believe it was still like the same sort of setup.
They did fail miserably. I don't know about you, Majka or Casali, but I was rejoicing when Starlord decided to pop open Howard the Duck's capsule. I wanted to see more from this guy. I mean, great. You came in when the duty called in Endgame, but I want to see more from this guy.
We need to see him. We need a whole what if with him. Like, what if Howard the Duck is running the Avengers or something? Just I don't know, anything like that. I want to party with Howard the Duck. Clearly, the dude knew, Buddy knew how to get a good time. Like, how did he even know that there was a happy hour going on? And he's been in that locked up in there, like tucked away. And he's like, nah, this is where we need to be. This is where we got to go. I respect it.
I respect it truly, yes, Casali. That as a coping mechanism, Howard the Duck just lives in a capsule where it's happy hour all the time.
I mean, he knows how to party. I mean, I guess that's sort of his little go-to, which is always, when the fighting gets rough, just pour it down.
And we are only about 2 months away from pouring it down when it's happy hour all the time, as happy hour hoops will be back in action. But that's a what if for another day. So what was your favorite part of this whole prison excursion? Or no, I say prison excursion, I'm going to tell you, it's technically a prison as far as T'Challa was concerned. This collector quest to get the embers of Genesis, something that can basically feed an ecosystem, can save a planet. Classic Marvel mystical force that doesn't have to be explained too much. My favorite part of it, when they're calling Thanos, they're like, he says he's going to charge against him, and they go, "You're crazy." Not crazy. Mad. It was like a great Hulk parallel to like, that's a secret, cat. I'm always angry. But what did you guys think? What was your favorite part of this, all this action?
Yeah, I mean, it's just always fun to just see the character moments and the way they kind of connect. I mean, even Nebula, it kind of peered off with how her role was always in the films, where she was a bad guy, then she went good and whatnot. So in this episode, it was cool to see her kind of switch sides just to, get a little bit ahead of the Collector, and then at the end of the day, fight side by side. I mean, Thanos, like, again, it's just, I still can't get over that. It was just such a surprise, such a warm surprise to see Thanos again. So, it was always, that's always my favorite. And that was my favorite even from episode 1, just to see character moments, even though it peered off a little bit differently than in the film. So it was just, it was just cool to see that. And I mean, obviously the scenery too. These, again, like I said last week, these episodes, they don't mess around. The animation and everything, it's just gleaming. It really just, comes right off the page, and it's cool that we get to witness all of this, even if it's on a streaming service or whatnot. It's cool that, nowadays this is the kind of entertainment we get, like, right from our home screens, which was cool. So that's what I really liked.
Yeah, I gotta say, it was really weird tuning in. I watched both episodes last night. It was really weird tuning into like a Marvel Universe cartoon. Like it was just threw me. Like I feel like the first 10 minutes I was watching it just threw me for a loop watching that. Best part, I mean, it's obvious, but just hearing Chadwick Boseman again, seeing T'Challa on the screen, like that was what I was looking forward to this episode the most. I think we're getting him a couple more times too. He did like 3 or 4 episodes for this, so looking forward to that. But most of the part with him just showing how T'Challa is a badass no matter what. Like, I think that's something. We've got a lot of Black Panther lore obviously in Black Panther and throughout the time, but they haven't explored T'Challa just like on his own as much. And I feel like that was kind of an opportunity to do this as well. And just because T'Challa's a badass no matter what, like that's what it comes down to. Like all that hero stuff comes from within him, and just seeing him in a different environment but still have that impact and everything. It was a dope little story to see. It just like the little explorer in me was like, I'm like, damn, like I would imagine being that kid just getting on that ship, and he's just like, nah, this is fine. Like I'm just gonna get right into here. Also though, Yondu, when he gets picked up, Yondu was very okay with just taking like the wrong kid. Like he was like mad for like maybe 25 seconds, and then he was like, you know what, I like this kid. Let's rip him away and go away. And it was just I don't know about Yondu. Is always, he's always been like kind of hit or miss. They got him back around in Guardians Volume 2, but that wasn't a great moment for me for Yondu. But it gave us the better Starlord apparently. Another dumping on Peter Quill. Now I'm doing it, and the episode is doing it. See what they did to me, guys? Like, man.
Dumping on Quill, DQ, Dairy Queen. That's not a coincidence, okay, folks. But yeah, wow. No, I thought it was a great episode. Honestly, when I think about it, amongst WandaVision, Loki, Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I would say it's in the top half of all those episodes put together. There was so much action. It's going to have a lot of rewatchability. I can't wait to rewatch it again. Just some other good moments I wrote down from the final fight. Yondu's arrow gets broken. We've never seen that before. The one dude gets Sega Genesis when they unleashes the Genesis embers into him. And what did I write down? Oh, yeah, Kariba's revenge. That's a big one. So she's got the Collector locked up now. So very interesting. Again, not to spoil it all, but yeah, it was great to see Yondu have a good father-son relationship that he so clearly wanted in Guardians 2, even though he obviously, like you said, Micah, has a weird way of going about it. And a weird way of going about it is kind of the whole premise of What If. I mean, the fact that this is just one small little thing and it can affect it all is kind of huge.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's such an impact this one episode has. I mean, I know Micah brought it up, and this was something that I should have also pandered on, because it was just such a joy and a treasure to get some more Chadwick Boseman playing Black Panther. I mean, because obviously we didn't even know Chadwick, that he was sick, the outcome of what happened. It was such a loss, and to see a little bit more with him. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get some more within the series if we're lucky. But yeah, it was just so great to see him play this character and play this character well. I mean, he is Black Panther through and through. I mean, so it was just cool. I mean, I also loved not only, they showed a lot of when, Yondu took him away and his journey with the Ravengers, but the moments that he had with King T'Chaka and him on Wakanda and everything was also really, really sweet too. And even him coming home at the very end, spoiler alert, it was just so nice to see, that he could still, stand his ground and just to see him, at home, because that's where he belongs.
Yeah, I'm just I was just thoroughly impressed with what they were able to do. Like this was an episode I was just kind of, I don't know why, not worried. Worried's the wrong word, but I was just kind of skeptical of using T'Challa in this way, and just with the Guardians. He's like the Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Guardians were so obscure when they first came out. I mean, obviously they're huge now, and it's like, oh, how could that not have missed? But when the Guardians came out, no one had any damn idea who Starlord was,
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. So messing with like the lore of it and trying to pull people in, I was just like, that seemed like episode 1, Captain Carter, like that seemed as more of a realm like in the Marvel universe. Like, okay, like that makes sense. But the fact that you're going to like using T'Challa, it was just like, I wonder how they're going to be able to pull this together. And it pulled together like perfectly. I mean, they really, really were able to get a whole nice little story out of it. When they picked him up from everything, like I was very thoroughly satisfied. And I was a little more skeptical coming into this episode than I was the first one of how it would kind of turn out with the what if. Because what if it could go literally any direction, whatever. And I think they did a good job with it and kept it true and kept it enjoyable.
Couldn't agree more. Keeping it true and keeping it enjoyable. Some could say the same about Picasso's Pizza, the ultimate spot for pizza in Western New York. Gents, great wrap up. Majka Man, Casali Files, give them a follow, obviously. Next week, we'll be back on Wednesday with another episode of What If. What are we going to get? Zombies versus Avengers? Loki ruling the planet Earth? What are we going to get?
Next week is Loki.
Next week's Loki.
We're back.
Ooh, I can't wait. Just give me it all. I can't wait.
Give it him all. Feed him. He cannot wait. And we cannot wait here at What's TrainWreck Watching, as always, for next week's episode.
Hey, you big dumb idiot. Looks like you got yourself a saucy hand. Yeah, I do. Try yourself a Picasso boneless wing. Maybe next time. Well,